Hello, my name is Yana the Heretic, and this is my channel, The Unpopular Opinion Becoming Popular. And today we're going to be talking about Gate 21, which is going to be in transit from the 29th of March to the 4th of April. Happy spring, by the way. The theme here is biting through. The hunter and the huntress biting through. This is going to be more of the other side of Archangel Michael, the one that knows the equality of order. So this reminds me of the movie Bruce Almighty, which I just watched, and it's about constantly asking for support and health but giving nothing in return. And when it comes to the equality of the transference or being able to give and receive equally, this is very important, especially when it comes down to finances and material items. And there is a lot of inequality in these realms. So this is a gate of a materialist as well as a gate of the tribal ruler. And therefore, it is located in our ego center. So if you have gate 21, you're going to be more of a policing type. So you desire to be in control. This is considered a manifester gate. And a manifester doesn't like to be told what to do and does not like to be told how to do something. So this is very much a person who is going to be always seeking control, whether that be at small instances or at large. So yeah, it doesn't feel very comfortable when you owe a 21 something. It feels like tension. So that is why it is on the cross of tension. If you need to pay rent to your landowner, if you need to pay your taxes and you haven't paid taxes, if you don't pay your dues in this material life, they are always going to seemingly come for you. That is the at-large part. The small part is somebody at home that's telling you what you need to do in order to be a better person, whether that is cleaning up after yourself or going to the gym, having good hygiene, somebody that always wants it to be done a specific way and you're always not doing it the way that they want. So it's definitely one of those people that likes to be in control. The tribal ruler. So the other part of the channel of money, this is the money line. It is gate 45, and gate 45 is the gate of the gatherer. So you see this as a very important position. It's a very it's a position of responsibility. So whenever you have this specific ego gate, either the 21 or the 45, which 45 resides in our throat, and it's about being able to gather all of the money needed for the community. It is considered the landowner, and the 21 likes to be the one that tells people what their role is to be able to sustain the community and to make sure that everybody has a particular role and they're staying on top of it. So we kind of saw some of that going on with the federal government and a lot of those people getting fired because they weren't actually doing anything. They were just collecting money. yeah, that's my prime example here. And when people have this whole channel, the money line activated, they know very much that money has to be spent in order to receive gains. So they know that the money will always be there and it'll always come. And the sooner that you are not in your scarcity mindset, the sooner that you understand the role of money and how it's meant to support you throughout life. And I know that materialism can sound very bad to most of us because, all Buddhism and spirituality seems to discard materialism, but we are very much a evolutionary species, and all of our concrete information of this era is guiding us to learn more of that flow of money, even if we are a spiritual person, because that is lacking in our systems. Good people are lacking in our systems. Everyone is very confused, and the energy in the air is extremely chaotic because there is right and wrong and black and white, and people aren't really looking at the roots as much as they should. So it doesn't mean that the 21s are always going to be fighting for the old hierarchy and the old community. They're very much attempting to create a new order outside of one that is deficient for our society today. And that is very needed. And a person who embraces money and abundance and is an expert at that can help people that are indeed fighting for Earth as well. So just make sure that you sit right with those people and you paid your dues, because they will or may come after you. When it comes down to the ego center, just a little bit more about the ego center before we get into questions. It is defined this week, and if you have the definition of the 21 or any ego definition at all, it is meant to give you the role of willpower. So you have the willpower to be able to achieve things and to be potentially a leader in society because you take on more responsibility, where others may definitely not fulfill that role because they lack the energy or willpower to do so. They may need to do other things. They may feel exhausted that day. Whenever somebody has ego or heart definition, that means that they are capable of putting their own feelings, their own energy aside, their own fatigue aside, in order to concretely fulfill the role that they were needed to do. And it's a hard thing to do, to be responsible for others while not really being able to fully focus on yourself and to be of service in that way. And that is very important to note today. The questions of the week. Are you a human who accepts materialism in this life, or would you prefer to have less weight? What does the balance look like? I've heard very, very many things. People would change their opinions on traveling light or actually being able to materialize their life. And I've seen both of those qualities being necessary in one's life. If the burden of reality and finance and, money is painful or hurtful to you, you may want to experience a lifestyle that is free of that weight. But it is wise to then know the other spectrum. And I've seen people gain success in a very healthy manner when they've completely lost everything or decided to give away all of their items. So both things are very important to experience in life. Otherwise, you may be excessively spending money on things that you do not need and that does not support your network or community of people. So that's generally what the 21 can fall into doing if they don't have the 45, which gathers people together and allows you to remember that your money in abundance actually isn't just meant for only you. It's meant for your whole entire community of people and helping other people. In what way are you able to release tension in your life? Maybe you need to take a few days to realign the systems in place in your work, home, or financial life. And what are these systems? Keep them in mind and write about them to make sure they actualize. So, I found this to be true for many different outdated systems. I've fought to evolve outdated systems in my timeline, and it's always frustrating for most people to separate the hustle and to actually dig up the roots and to challenge the old systems. So I think that is very necessary to do in times in life, especially if you do own a business. You have to reorganize the way that you do things in order to actually have less weight in your life and to be able to run your business effectively. Is there someone in your life policing you? Do you prefer to work on things alone, or do you appreciate support? I know that myself, I always do things on my own, and I prefer to do them that way. And I've made peace with that as much as possible, but in time to time, I do love support, and support has definitely saved my life. It doesn't make me feel great, but my lessons in life have been to accept support and to be able to understand that is actually very healthy. It feels good for other people to help you, and then you know that if they're ever in a hard period of time, that you can actually then repay that debt or just support your friend, How do you redefine what control is in your body? What does the word control feel like? Control is equally as good as it is bad, right? Because if you're in any type of trouble, or if you don't want to follow societal rules and dogmas, etc., you're being seen as an anarchist or somebody that doesn't play by the rules, and it's all whatever, labeled as such, and it can feel really like a lack of freedom, and a lack of freedom has definitely led to my own personal demise and depression in my soul, because being born into a life constructed with credits and balances, checks and balances, and mortgage, whatever it is, it's not very freeing. But the flip side is that there are borders around your organs and your skin, and those boundary lines are very important to keep everything concrete and to keep it from looking like chaos or mush or just not being organized in any fashion at all. So there's positives and negatives here. So take some time to write down how your personal wealth will not only affect you, but also aid those in your life. What does this network look like, and where do you stand within it? So maybe you're not the boss. Maybe you don't have ego definition. You know, maybe you have a great idea this week, or you've been frustrated with the way systems have been, and you decide to write or construct a new system. It's healthy to know where you stand in it. If you're one of those loyal supporters, or if you're the leader, don't be afraid to share your thoughts and have the best of fortune this week. Tribal ruler is beautiful, and it is complex as much as it is biting through for justice. That'll be all for the weather in this transit. Thank you for watching. I will be making a video about what it is to be a heretic, and that will come out shortly within the week. And I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your curiosity and interest in human design, and I will hopefully see you all, chat with you all soon.